All right, here we go. You colorblind, Jeff?
No, I'm the ones telling you that you can't start talking until it's recording, and now it's recording, so go ahead.
Wait, we start talking when we want to start talking.
Yes, of course.
That's right.
Knock yourself silly. Welcome to the Beast of Bourbon podcast with your hosts, Jeff,
Joe,
Mark,
and Riley,
each episode, we will discuss topics related to bourbon.
as well as anything else that pops into our head.
because after all, we don't know Jack.
On a more serious note, if you have a friend or loved one with a drinking problem,
Please know there are resources available to help you.
Always drink responsibly.
so welcome to the next podcast, and thanks everybody who's been our 30 followers or so on our Facebook account, the Beast of Bourbon podcast Facebook page. So if you have not already, please join that. We post on that periodically, and we'll also let you know when new episodes have landed. So that's exciting. We're becoming media sensations. Yeah, I was going to say darlings, but probably sensations or
Well,
idiots.
I think it's sensational because people are shocked that we could actually do this, but I think it's because of Riley's good talent of editing.
Well, I'm thinking that in maybe 5 more years, we'll figure out how to do Snapchat. And then another 5 years after that, we'll figure out TikTok because
No,
we're current.
we are. We are. I tried to set up a MySpace account, but I couldn't do it.
Tom is busy. He's away from his for those of you that remember. Anyway.
Right.
So,
That's a throwback.
so what's everybody drinking?
Riley, you got something going today?
I do. I have some very basic Buffalo Trace, but a nice
Ooh. I don't
handmade.
think I would ever say Buffalo Trace is basic.
No,
That's a nice taste.
It's a nice drink. It's nice drinking glassware.
Yeah. Megan, my fiance, made this.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's very cool. She's talented. Must come from a long line of very talented people.
I think runs in the family.
Exactly.
Not on this half.
Yeah.
Not on this half of the gene pool.
Good sucking up, Riley. Keep it going.
Yeah. Well, you just got to be nice too for a few more months, and after that, we're all done.
What's
Jeff,
y'all
what do you
drink?
got?
Um, I've got something out of Texas. Balcones, if I'm pronouncing it
Yep.
correctly. It's called Baby Blue. And it's on the sweeter side. It's made of it's Texas, which we know Texas is a very proud state. Texas grown and blue corn. It's about 92 proof. The bottle's very reasonable in the $40 range. And it's on the sweeter side.
Hmm.
How about you, Joe?
Well, I am about to open
Oh, yes.
a bottle of the Green River Wheated Bourbon that we talked about a few podcasts ago. Won the New York Spirits World's Best Bourbon Award. So I thought I
It's
would.
quite wide ranging. World's best.
Well, you know how New York is, Jeff. Everything's the best in New York. They are proud
Yeah.
like Texas.
Yeah, because I was going to say, because Texas, they're very, very low key,
Yeah.
humble. Yeah.
No, they're the best in New York, but they're biggest in Texas.
And hopefully I can get it open before the podcast ends.
That would
There
be
you
good.
go.
Mark, that was very diplomatic. While Joe is struggling, Mark, what are you drinking today?
I am drinking today Bardstown Bourbon Origin Series.
We had some Did we have some Bardstown when we were in Kentucky?
We had Old Bardstown, a
Uh,
different distiller.
Gotcha. Thank
Now,
you.
a couple of things along those lines. I talked to our AI masters, and I took a picture of the bottle, and I asked, "What is the mash bill of this bourbon?"
Ooh,
So I got all the deets.
look at you.
This bottle is Bardstown Bourbon Company Original Series Kentucky Straight Bourbon, 96 proof. Mash bill, 60% corn, 36% rye, and 4% malted barley. It is considered a high rye bourbon, and it does have a little bit of that. However, It also told me if I wanted to have a little bit less of that spice flavor, throw a couple drops of water in it, which I did.
Mm.
I see, I follow my instructions here, and it just gives you a little bit less sharpness of the spice. You still taste it, but it dampens it down and brings out some of the other flavors a little more. Like I did not have as much caramel in it at first, and now it's a little bit more with the water in it. But the spice does still come through. It's still definitely a higher rye bourbon. It just has a little bit different taste to it.
Do you
And
remember how
then
much you paid for it?
under 50. I know I found it for under 50. And I was kind of happy to find. I thought it was a pretty good bargain for what I'm drinking. And then
Nice.
also, and then also, because I was such a good boy this year, Santa Claus bequeathed me some oak barrel glasses that actually have been charred on the inside.
I was going to ask if it was charred, like
Yes.
actual charred or painted black.
No. This is charred because if I'm looking through it, I could see kind of through kind of the layers of the wood there.
Wow.
Um, so it gives it a little bit other nuance, if you will, compared to just glass. So interesting combo.
Do
That
you
is interesting.
notice it changes the taste at all?
I think it
Uh,
does a bit. I
Okay.
think it does a bit. I definitely could taste a little bit more of the woody flavor to it. Um, but again, this is all sealed. It's not like that, there's wood pieces flowing around in it. Um, but it's pretty nice. It's pretty cool.
Sorry,
I-
I had an image, I had a Saturday Night Live image of, wood pieces floating around, you choking. Yeah, exactly. So,
At
Oh,
the end of the
mine.
day, it still does taste like bourbon.
nice. Nice. Hey, Joe, since you're opening a new bottle, I'm going to throw it to you in a second, but I did want to comment and clarify that technically, the Balconies is not a bourbon because it's 100% blue corn. It's considered a blue corn whiskey.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah,
Do you remember how much you paid for it?
yeah. It's in the $40 range. It's very
Hmm.
reasonable, and it's on the sweeter side, which is typically where I like the bourbon, I guess now slash whiskey.
Oh.
Well, that makes sense if there's no rye in it.
Right. There's nothing else but corn. Right.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Right, I assume you paid in that $35 range for the Buffalo Trace.
I believe so.
So some all right. Well, I'm
It's
gonna
open?
taste it.
All right.
I smelled it, but I can't smell. I've had a cold for about 2 months, it seems like. But according to uh the AI, the aroma, if I could smell, would be peach, apricot, and sometimes cherry. I don't know why sometimes. Sweetness is the caramel, toffee, vanilla, buttery notes, and the spices are cinnamon, nutmeg, and soft baking spice. Others get fresh bread, orange peel, and a hint of oak or tobacco. I'm not sure why I would want to smell tobacco, but that's me. So
Now, is that cheating if you look up the tasting notes before tasting?
no, because I can't. I need the tasting notes to know what I'm tasting because I can't. I just know it. Like we said, it tastes like bourbon. That's got had a little bit of heat to it going over my tongue. That surprised me because it's weeded. Um, well, it says in the AI tasting notes, gentle heat with notes of baked bread and oak. I don't taste either of those, but there's some gentle heat. Definitely get a little the sweetness. I'm not sure I get but it says toffee, butterscotch, and salted caramel and honey. I get the sweetness, but I'm not distincting anything. But it's good. Again, it's weeded, so I'm surprised it's got a little bit of the heat.
Right.
And it's actually I looked it up on specs. It's about $37 in specs, but I actually got it at a independent liquor store down the street that I made a discovery at.
Oh,
Do
So,
tell.
so there's a place called Lucky's Liquors in Little Elm, and I needed to before our trip last month, I needed to pick up some bourbon to travel with, and I walked in the door and I saw right at the front Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare, E.H. Taylor, and Blanton's.
Huh.
stop.
So,
Did you load up?
well, I had to get uh, a bottle of rum for my significant other first, and put that on the counter, and told the person behind the cash register, I'm not done yet.
Perfect.
And so, I wanted to bring four roses for the trip, and then I started loading up on the Blantons and E.H. Taylor and Eagle Rare. And then I found out the reason why it's where it is you actually have to buy other things and spend a certain amount of money to be able to get into each.
Ah,
So
And how did you find that out? Do they have like a case? Do they have something
no,
behind the counter?
no, they told me. They're like, oh no,
Uh,
you have to, because I hadn't quite gotten to the number, and I was going to put the H Taylor back because I'm like, all right, I'm not going to, this is getting a little silly. Um, and then the owner said, no, let him have it all. So I met the owner, and we talked for a little while, and he's opening up another store in, I think he said Super Bowl weekend, that's right down the street from us. So that'll be
nice.
the new place I go all the time.
That's a good weekend to open up a liquor store.
Yep. Yeah, it is. So
Smart man.
yeah.
It's
So
not a coincidence.
Mm,
That's great.
this
You're
is
kind of sorry.
I recommend Green River, the Green River Weeded. I think it's a nice bourbon,
gotcha.
especially, and for that price, um, it's an excellent buy.
Well, that is the thing. And I think we've found this out just through the course of our personal tasting, but also doing this. You really don't need to break the bank to find really good bourbon. I
Right.
mean, yeah, and there are some things that are at a super, super high point and a bit harder to get your hands on. And I mean, they're special, and I get that. But for most nights out, I'm going to drink something that's affordable but real tasty.
Yeah, I really agree with that. And I think this bottle of corn whiskey is a perfect example. I do like it sweeter. I know people who prefer their bourbons or their whiskey sweeter. And for in the $40 ballpark, 40, 45, it's great. You can drink it, you can drink it straight and it's going to taste terrific. It's not going to give you any heat. Um, and I would agree with you, Mark. There have been times when I've been out for work dinners and stuff, or even, my wife and I were out about 2 months ago, and I splurged. I was like, oh, that looks like a special bottle. I hadn't had it. It was a very expensive pour, and it was just okay.
Mhm. You can say you had it. Okay, check that off the list. Yep.
Very much so. Yeah,
Well, that Russell's Reserve that I found out to dinner a couple months ago that we talked about last time, I was surprised that, that's under $40. That's in that same range. I think it's 35, $36. And it's a 10-year,
yeah.
and it's very good.
And I
So
would think and I would think because I know Joe, you've been doing your homework on what's happening in the industry. I would think that as the industry adjusts, that we'll find more things that are a little bit more, I'll say, price sensitive. The prices are, do you think prices are going to come down, Joe, because of what's happening?
I would think so. Before we segue there, I want to get the fun fact
Oh,
out,
yeah.
so that we will tell the answer at the end.
Please forgive me for going out of order.
That's
I
all right.
I didn't do my homework.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
So it's
Again, not and we see a pattern, Jeff.
at least he has a glass this time.
This
Yeah,
I'm
time,
not
yeah,
this
yeah.
time.
Right off the bat, he's
I,
got a glass, he's got a bourbon, so that's a win.
not
it's
drinking out
it's
of a
a
flask or a old coffee cup that was in his trash can, or
Yeah, I mean, here's an old Yeti from the other day. I'm
Great,
sure
yeah,
great.
probably just a little bit of coffee in there. I could drink out of this; it would be fine.
yeah,
Yep, there you go.
go for it. So, all right. Harry Truman had two go-to bourbons.
Huh,
I will say
really?
what they are at the end of
Interesting.
the episode.
All right. All right.
Well, huh? This whole technology thing it's a passing fad, whether it's this internet thing
Yeah.
or this AI thing. So I better I better search it quickly before that industry
I'm gonna
shuts
run out to the library.
Microfiche.
Yeah, actually, the card file, Dewey Decimal System.
down. Poor Riley's like, what are you all talking
He's got to
about?
Google all that shit. He's got to
Yeah,
Google everything we just talked about,
totally.
Yeah,
every last thing,
there'll be a quiz before next episode
right?
Or
for
before,
Riley.
or before the wedding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be a history test.
Yeah,
So,
so what you were saying about there was, I think it would hit the news at some point last month that Jim Beam is shutting down production for all of 2026. Now I think they've got their main bourbon. They're shutting down production now. It's not that they're not going to distribute it. They've just got so much in inventory that I guess they've decided they need to run this down. They've got a couple other bourbons. I forget what they are, but
Knob Creek's one of them.
yeah, I think they're still producing that. The other good news about this is they said nobody's getting laid off. They're just going to reassign people to different. So that's good. But
That's good.
in doing some reading on it, at the end of 2025, Kentucky had 16 million barrels of bourbon in inventory in rick houses. Or in ready, and I don't know if it's ready to be produced, or I think so. That's you know what, it's the market for bourbon is soft, and some of it is taste, some of it's some of it's it's just the people just aren't buying it as much, and the bourbon boom, it sounds like it's peaked and gone down a little bit, and also I read that younger people are drinking less than we did at that age.
Riley, I can't imagine you drinking as much as Joe and I and Jeff ever did in that age. Just saying. Just saying. Your liver's much too healthy.
Oh, I don't know. It was made once upon a time, 10 years ago or so, but certainly not now. I'm not.
Yeah, it wasn't us
Oh,
10 years ago, I'll tell you that.
well, we also weren't drinking bourbon back in the day either. Let's call it
No,
as it is. Yeah.
That is very true. That is very true.
no.
God.
lots
Shake
of
me.
lots of cheap beer.
And other consumables.
So when we could get it for $5 a case, that was
That was
our
a good
price.
one.
That was our
Going to be a
price
good
point.
night.
Yep. So, but yeah, so I think that's why we'll probably start seeing maybe some of the blends get easier to get, Eagle Rare, those types of things,
Right.
and which would be nice. But
And do you think, based on your readings and observations, do you think the prices will start coming down?
I would think so. I mean,
Right.
I mean, the first thing you learn in economics, that first day is supply and demand.
Right. Right.
So I would think that the prices will come down, but who knows? I thought when COVID hit, that was the time to get in the housing market, and then I found out, because it'd be a buyer's market, and it was not a buyer's market, as we all know. So
It was a good time to buy barrels of oil.
yeah, so I would say,
A lot of people driving.
yeah, don't take advice like that from me.
Whereas the car, oh my God, what were the PBS NPR car guys? Car talk.
Click and clack.
Click and clack.
Click and clack.
Don't
The
drive
Tappet
like
brothers.
don't thank you. Don't drive like my brother. Don't drive like my brother.
I don't know that one.
Do you not
All right,
seriously?
that's another you
Yeah.
gotta look up.
I don't.
All right. In your
Wow.
spare time.
Lived a very sheltered life.
Yes,
Joe,
I
have
do.
you put anything new into your infinity bottle since we've last met?
So I told you I have a second infinity bottle, right? That I had started.
I think you had mentioned it. I don't know that you
Yeah.
actually got it started by then.
So I think it was last week. I mistakenly grabbed the new infinity bottle and started pouring it instead of the original. So I have screwed that up, and I will have to start over again.
So that means you have to finish that one first.
Yes. So,
How, how much was in it?
um, it was probably that much in it. And I remember looking, I'm like, geez, I thought I had more and thinking it was the original Infinity bottle. I didn't think I had drank that much of it.
Joe,
And then,
for the other 26 people listening to a podcast, how many ounces do you think were in there? Because your measurement with your hand is not going to come through on the podcast.
oh, probably I'd say 8 or 9 pours,
Okay.
All right.
maybe 7 or 8 pours. And I had a couple pours out of it, and then looked when I went to put it back in the bourbon closet, and then noticed the bottle, the Infinity bottle that I was intending to grab.
How
And
was it?
it was pretty good. I wasn't paying, I mean, I didn't notice, because I wasn't really thinking that it was a new one, so I wasn't paying close attention to it. So,
Obviously, if you chose the newer one,
you know,
we get this pattern.
Yeah.
not what I was looking for, but
No,
that's all right. That's the great thing about the Infinity bottle. You can just keep
that's
making
right.
them.
Freshen it up.
Yep.
All right.
I have two new adds to my Infinity bottle. 2 ounces each of Michner's
Mm.
small batch straight bourbon and Bibb and Tucker Classic 6 year old batch. I still have a bit more to go. I still have, and actually, I'm using that really nice decanter bottle, which is first of all, it looks great and holds a fair amount too. So I got maybe another third of it to go before I can say it's topped off.
Nice.
And right now, my proof is at 96.
Let's come down a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I've used some lighter proof stuff lately. I'll have to go back to my rocket fuel to top it off.
Yeah, I am not doing an infinity bottle. I think I'm just a little bit more of a purist. I like to know it well, that refined palate of mine,
That's right.
at least in my own mind.
You're so worldly.
Well, can't deny that.
Yeah, yeah. He's been there.
No, I think there's something for me about knowing, okay, it's this bottle, it's going to taste like this. What am I in the mood for? And
Hmm.
I still have
True, true.
some of the Infinity bottle that got shared with me that it's when I'm in the mood for just anything, then that's different.
Hmm.
Whereas I think I primarily like with the Balconists, right? I know it's going to be super on the sweeter side. So when I'm in the mood for that, that's what I want to go for.
So along that thought process, and this is for the entire panel, if by chance you were going to make an old fashioned, is there a bourbon or bourbons that you would use specifically for that in your collections?
So I don't typically drink mixed drinks.
Hmm.
I really am kind of a purist when it comes to that. My family would say that I have, poor taste buds, that I don't like to try new things. I actually tasted a beer the other night. My son was super excited and happy that I had even tasted it because all I kept
Yeah.
hearing was, it's not bitter, it's not bitter. And it was pretty good.
All right.
So, so I'm happy with just having a bourbon, with or without ice sometimes, with or
Mhm.
without, a little a few drops of sparkling water to open up
Yep.
the taste. So, but I will say that yes, there are times when I have in the past instructed my family that, hey, if you're going to make a mixed drink, you might want to use this one.
Yeah.
I'm not as enamored with it.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
How about you guys?
Riley, how about you? In the past, have you asked for an old fashioned with a specific bourbon?
Yeah, I usually go for like Bullet or Makers as like my mixer whiskeys or cooking whiskey, actually. If
Hmm.
you've ever tried caramelized onions with bourbon,
Oh,
Oh,
highly recommend.
that sounds like
Awesome.
something.
that does sound
Hmm.
great.
On top of a burger, forget about it.
All right. All right. That's a plan.
Wow.
Turn into a cooking show.
Have
Before
do
our
a little
very
segment.
eyes.
Bourbon,
What's that?
bourbon adjacent. Joey, what about you?
Generally, I use, if especially at home, I'll use Bullet
Mhm.
for an old fashioned. And if I'm out, a lot of times I'll ask them to make it with Woodford.
Hmm.
So,
If
Yeah.
I have it, there's a local distiller up here called Flag Hill. They're in Lee, New Hampshire, which is maybe a half hour from here. And I've liked their bourbons for old fashioned. Um, but also I've like makers for mine also.
Yeah. I find that if I'm traveling and I'm going to be someplace for a while, for several days, and I'm going to buy a bottle,
Mhm.
Makers is always good, and
Yeah,
Woodford is as well. It's always the both of them are always consistent.
right.
And Makers is really reasonably priced. Talking about, since we always talk about price points, it's always reasonably priced. It makes for a good cocktail.
yeah,
If somebody in the family is mixing, it's good for me if I'm just drinking it straight up.
Hmm. True.
I got a bottle of Makers for Christmas from somebody.
Nice.
But you
Good.
got a fancy bottle, didn't you? Didn't you get a high-end bottle?
I got
Was it
I got so
46
much
or something?
bourbon related stuff for Christmas. I've become very predictable to buy for.
How did anybody know? I
Yeah, I
don't.
don't know. I don't know.
Going on a
So,
limb on all of
yeah, the sign that you can see over my
them.
shoulder was
Yeah.
one of them. I've got a thing that says
Nice. I like
I
that.
drink bourbon and I know things, the little notepad to write down show stuff in. I mean, it's just like bourbon socks, couple bottles. So yeah, it's very easy to buy for.
We're simple men.
We
Yes.
are. Yep.
Which is good. So
I don't need complex stuff.
Yeah.
nope.
All right. On that note,
Well, Joey, what's the answer to the
yeah, you have
Ah,
you have me fascinated.
right?
so Harry Truman, president number, I forget. His two go-to bourbons were Wild Turkey and Old Grandad.
Huh.
So I always did like Harry.
Straight shooter.
Yep. And a bourbon drinker.
What's not to like?
So,
Good stuff. All right. Always good to see my long time and of course my new friend Riley, my new best friend Riley. By the way, Riley and I talk constantly. But it's always good to see everybody and to see everybody in good health. And
yep.
um, as uh, as we always say, we love our bourbons, but man, we don't know Jack.
We truly do not.
No, we
And once
don't.
again, thank you all for tuning in, listening, following, however you do it.
Yeah.
Like
We're
Joe
on
said,
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
and also a new Facebook presence.
Yep.
I tell you, pretty soon, like you said, we'll be conquering MySpace and all that other the stuff the cool kids do.
I think didn't you say Mark, once Stern finally retires, we will be the kings of all media?
Yeah, we're just waiting him out.
We'll-
Well, we have another. I think he upped his contract for another couple of years, so we have time to build towards that
Perfect.
with
Perfect.
a significant eye roll there. Yes.
We'll build our brand.
Now, and tell Amy Poehler, watch out. Enjoy the
Yeah,
award while
definitely.
she can.
She's in our sights.
Oh, well,
All right, everybody.
all
Thanks a
right.
lot. See you on the next
Cheers,
episode.
boys.
Cheers.
Here's to good health.